Hi, folks. Usually wrap up this class, British Lit before or 1800, with a look at Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard by Thomas Gray, known quite often as simply Gray's Elegy. It's a very nice piece to wrap up this class with because it offers an introduction into something new. We've looked at neoclassical literature with the likes of Samuel Johnson and Alexander Pope. And now, from that same time period, mid to the late 1700s, we have Thomas Gray offering one of the earlier examples of Romanticism in English literature. The Romantic period, the literature we would term Romantic, is a little older, or at least the Romantic period for Germany is, with Goethe and the like. But when we're talking about English Romanticism, we usually work from William Blake and Robert Burns, and then we go to Wordsworth and Coleridge and those folks. Now Gray's Elegy offers several of those elements we would term part of Romantic literature, Romantic as romanticist, not hugs and kisses, romanticist. That is, the work extols ordinary people, claims that they are worth serious attention, claims their human worth, dignity, and such as that. Very big focus in this poem. There tends to a bit of focus on nature, and we can see our natural world, at least the one found at night in a country graveyard. And we have, from Gray, some things that we would term very much rejections. A rejection of the notion of hierarchy. Hey, our people here are just as worthy as anybody with an animated bust and a storied urn or whatever like that. Rejection of all the trappings and success of greatness, such as particularly a fine and grand monument at their death, and its further distance from the neoclassical by being such an emotional poem. This is a sentimental poem, a mood piece, very mood heavy. Setting to rural churchyard, kind of the genre that was sometimes termed graveyard poetry. There in the graveyard, it's dusk, melancholy tone. How does one define melancholy? Gentle and persistent sadness. Persistent, not persistence. Things I can do grammatically putting these things together. Oh, well, it's the kind of sadness that one can wallow in, even in some perverse sense, enjoy. You can enjoy your own sadness when you're melancholy. It's like that. And the narrator's a ghost. This is hinted at from the beginning. The world is left to darkness and me, who's out at night. In a rural world, ghosts. And he explicitly describes them as such, describes himself as such as he describes his funeral at the end. And for that end, there's an epitaph at the end that Gray thought, obviously, clearly from the context, was highly desirable. He wrote this in memory of a friend, deceased friend, as one friend does write an elegy. It appears, however, directed toward all the uncelebrated dead, toward every ordinary person, to everyone who lived their little lives in peace and harmony with their neighbors and with the earth itself. Would he have liked this for his own epitaph? From what we know of Thomas Gray, it's possible that would be the case. Now, let's see what we have I've pretty much given you the summary of the big points of the poem. So let's look at some of the details that make them, or look at them just a little bit would be very desirable. Now, first off, you'll look at those first three stanzas and watch as Grace sets the mood. We've got sunset, there's quiet, uses words like drowsy, we have the owl. So we are getting that sense of comfort, but also that pervasive sadness, that combination that gives this work just this sense of very gentle melancholy. As for the graveyard itself, the description begins with a yew tree. That yew tree is standard. There's supposed to be a yew tree in a graveyard and in an English churchyard. It's supposed to be there. It's part of the deal. So it's there. Then we move to the graves, and he just talks about them in their terms of age, moldering earth. You get that sense of those things. And the forefathers sleep. Standard, very gentle euphemism, the long sleep. From there, as he talks about what these forefathers are now missing because they're dead, we see a village life that has worth. And there's an intrinsic happiness. There's this wonderful picture of family together, of people tired at the end of the day, comfortably tired. Then he shifts that to the ambitious world and starts accusing the ambition itself, of rebuking them. And meantime, he is rebuking ambition, grandeur, and all such things, calling it bosh and nonsense. Hey, tells us in stanza 11, death is the same for all. You're dead whether you're in this churchyard or underneath one of these great big stone monuments. You're dead. Then he suggests greatness of character, can lie in this little churchyard just as well as elsewhere. Both the good and bad can be here, with the bad, well, prevented from being too bad because these people are where they can do no harm, but they can certainly, in their sphere, be good. We work along that trail on toward the end, and then stanzas 21 to 26, we start getting description of the narrator. Who is this offering these lines? And he describes himself pensive, given to melancholy, and such as that he's the sort who would sit under a tree contemplating life. The description being offered by, some hoary swain would be some one now elderly who would have known him. And the person offering the description would mention his funeral. Yes, so the narrator is a ghost. He's dead and lying there. And we get his epitaph. Narrator's epitaph, very simple one, proclaiming the worth of that quiet, pensive life and the humble wishes of the deceased. We should look at it. We should look at it if I have the page correct. Here rests his head upon the lap of earth. Excuse me, folks. A youth to fortune and to fame unknown. Fair science frowned not on his humble birth. Melancholy marked him for its own. Large was his bounty and his soul sincere. Heaven did a recompense as a largely sinned. He gave to misery all he had, a tear. He gained from heaven, 'twas all he wished, a friend. No further seek his merits to disclose, or draw his frailties from their dead abode. There they alike in trembling hope repose, the bosom of his Father and his God. Yes, that is it. A humble life as the appropriate, desired life.